which is as hot as fresh lava. Lovely.
Just looks like you could fuel her up and go again. What do you think, Jackie?
And even when you know to expect the sonic boom, it still catches you off guard every time.
5 times by helicopters.
5 times.
And
so whatever G's they take on the way down is going to even be amplified.
Unreal.
Especially at its core, to push the matter in.
So our galaxy may be filled with life, filled with civilizations, but there's...
This actually proved to be the key to unlocking...
You'll get 100 different answers, or you'll get a kind of...
When dense disks of gas and dust start encircling...
glow hotly in X-ray light. And Chandra found...
my masterpiece. Turn the lights off and we're gonna turn the flash on and take a picture again. It's so bright! Ah! This is made with 3
violently exploded.
And literally, stars that change their brightness in a regular period.
It won't have much mass because most of that mass was blown away.
Even though the largest things in the universe are black holes. In contrast to things like planets or stars, they have no...
Also, many other galaxies may harbor these extremely massive
200 billion galaxies in the
Alien Covenant's paradise also
where the vast majority of the mass
allows them to generate structures that wouldn't be possible without having knowledge.
The spiral arms are seen as kind of circling waves in the...
At the same resolution, you have only 6 times...
Because apprehension is the primitive functioning of the primate neural network. And reality...
detected a radio signal from somewhere in the vicinity of the constellation.
Part of that first crew after the Challenger explosion in '86. May the 4 civilians.
The cosmos is full of...
We are seconds away from the moment here. Let's watch.
In the universe. It's likely that it was the best suited to prosper in the conditions.
If you wanted to transform the sun into a black hole, however...
The greatest showman of the 19th century, Phineas Taylor Barnum, made society believe that a star lives in every...
No, we would seriously freak out.
People might freak out.
Let's make the point, if we can, Savannah. We are listening to the voice of Blue Origin Mission Control. This is not NASA. This is a private company's voice of mission control. And we are...
You plot the intensity against each frequency, and you find this wonderful.
The 70-year-old daredevil will board Virgin Galactic's Unity spaceplane.
Hello, wonderful person. This is Anton, and today we're going to be trying to answer a question. This video will not discuss how black holes work or how they... A ringularity is a ring with a thickness of 0 and no surface, spinning extremely fast, containing...
Tonight, Richard Branson and his Virgin Galactic crew gearing up for...
It's also noteworthy for being the smallest exoplanet discovered so far, being only 1.4 times larger than Earth.
Essential for capturing the faintest starlight.
If you follow the argument through, you see that it really doesn't...
The company founded by Jeff Bezos as one...
As for applying his vast experience as captain of the...
The attackers left their mark on the Milky Way. We find similar...
And this could be the case until it was involved in an accident with
anticipation,
but rather made up of millions to trillions of...
But now, in the universe far beyond our galaxy, there's evidence of something far more ominous.
So we're talking about something that is a significant fraction of the size of the Milky Way.
Any spacefaring civilization will probably understand the properties...
Caught a tantalizing hint in 1761.
They've shown that the Milky Way is part of a much larger system of galaxies, a supercluster
that they have named Laniakea.
And deeply interdependent with everyone on it. I think I saw the true...
At one nuclei sits a supermassive black hole that is about 200 million...
The universe is populated with life. Why haven't they come here? The formulation of...
And it's not your regular night with stars shining in the beautiful...
The stars in the disks of a spiral galaxy are generally much younger than the ones found in the halo.
An experience.
Even if a black hole doesn't have one of those disks around it?
I will travel where no man has dared to go. Into the black hole.
The Predator's Dutch Schaefer acted as a model for the T-800 from...
But due to a past asteroid impact, Eteria has a...
Earth's magnetic field accelerates and channels them, turning the night into a spectacle of color.
From the faint galaxies that lie far behind the cluster.
One of the main reasons a spiral galaxy does not orbit like the first example.
From the tiniest particles to the largest galaxies to the very existence of space, time, and life.
Exploding in
T-minus 15 seconds to the launch. I believe we're getting some audio now.
The digital universe is the basis of our space show production.
We just be like, oh, well, let's get back to watching our reality TV shows and worry about that one.
It is the smallest of the giant planets in our system, but still 30,000 miles in diameter.
Because of the people I'm meeting and talking with.
I'm glad to be here.
Shatner and the other passengers delayed their trip for a day.
I've always felt very strongly about it, and I've been watching very carefully what others have been.
Many of these planets have features we can relate to.
Is the hottest and brightest of all planets.
This would come to change in time as better technology has allowed us to observe the...
under conditions that are very different from those here on the Earth.
From here, the trick to going bigger isn't adding more mass. To make the biggest stars, we have to kill them.
First barrier, we need a terrestrial planet in that.
It is only about 3,000 miles in diameter and has a surface that is pockmarked with craters like our own.
As soon as you go down to Earth, you'll shrink back down to your normal size within a...
And those 3 billion galaxies that you might be able to count.
So what exactly was expanding back then? Well, it wasn't the particles that were expanding with respect to each other, but space itself.
But really not very much. But we don't think that's all we...
That's not actually happening, nor is it allowed to happen.
Nothing can actually go faster than the speed of light, so obviously we're missing something here.
It was the first planet discovered with the use of a...
We get a tail, we're long and skinny, and that's how we move.
On the 24th of June, 1947, Kenneth Arnold, an American aviator and a businessman, was flying...
How had her original tally been inflated by over 4...
To explore an essential part of our universe.
Spins faster. So, as the...
You are on another body in our universe that is different, distinctly different, separate.
Moon landing, so this is pretty significant, and we're just seconds away now.
It's been in the back of my mind for quite a while, you know, the whole climate change debate, environmental issues.
And following the precepts of special relativity...
There they are, headed to space,
That is the 13th bit. So for Maria...
Or if you divide every side of the large cube into...
Liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen fill and drain valves are closed.
I think that we have to stop calling them aliens, because aliens is a derogatory term for...
Aside from Arnold as a main character, the Predator and the Terminator do not...
The largest things in the universe are black holes. In contrast to things like planets or stars, they have no...
His observations proved that these stars were far too distant.
We are about to go to space, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Blue Origin's first human flight. Godspeed.
5 years later, oh, nothing. He just broke a hot balloon, air balloon record, crossing the Pacific from Japan to the Arctic, reaching speeds of 200 and...
The rules we use to understand a universe
simply don't seem to.
Then the gas accelerates outwards, so we expect the faster.
Virgin Galactic's planned flight begins near Truth or Consequence.
After traveling on Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin's new
building cardboard spaceships. And
what are stars anyway?
If somehow the jet suddenly transformed into a black hole, its entire mass would be compact.
In human terms, we say this period is about 0.7 nano.
Isn't it a little strange we haven't made first contact?
One theory said the topology of large-scale structure, if you will,
The planets are divided into two categories based on their composition, terrestrial and Jovian. Terrestrial planets, including Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars.
But scientists believe that it is a...
Well, this is the famous question asked by Enrico Fermi in 1950.
Their best friend Matthew Scott Montgomery and Demi's sister Dallas, as they take a road trip to investigate recent eyewitness ET encounters and conduct tests at UFO hotspots.
It's a good candidate for hosting life if we're ever able to reach Kepler 452b. Unfortunately, this planet is 45,000.
The telescope was deactivated with a good night command.
Andromeda.
No, really, the spiral form of the galaxy is still there.
Our solar system is one of over 500 known solar systems in the entire Milky Way.
Physicists have been struggling for some time to figure out why our universe is...
which is 4.2 light years away from the Earth, and first discovered in August 2016. Proxima b orbits the habitable zone of a red dwarf.
You know, here I am where no man has ever been before. Nobody has ever walked where I'm walking. No one has ever seen.
Now at 90, Shatner will become the oldest person.
Colonel, we're about to see the separation. Tom Costello, I want to go back to...
Listen to him sharing his experience with aspiring astronauts.
Is any world that orbits a star outside of our solar...
A sun-like star. It's just a little...
is not founded just on the sending of messages in the hope of a response.
His hypothesis? That it may give eternal life to his alien creator, Peter Whalen, who secretly traveled to
When extremely massive suns collapse at the end of their lives, they collapse in several stages. The life of a glowing and blazing star.
One side of the planet is constantly subjected to harsh...
On very, very large scales, the universe is homogeneous and isotropic. It's the same in all directions.
Was enlisted to begin filling in the details of that.
Our laws of physics are nothing but executing computer code.
And here, at 200 million years after the Big Bang,
WASP-17b is very unusual because it is the largest planet.
As part of the rebuilding of the Hayden planet,
we are seeing a planetary crisis unfold before our eyes. Well, so...
They revolve around the sun in definite or...
Claim that UFOs are visiting all the time, and the reports are just being...
The heavier the payload, the more fuel a rocket needs to lift it into space.
To understand exactly what kind of game this is, you need to turn to brown dwarfs for help. Brown dwarfs are substellar objects. That means smaller.
Psychologists have shown we can't trust.
We see here the radiosphere that we jumped out of in the beginning, but these are positions.
Sir Richard Branson and Elon Musk have also been working on their own rockets for space.
Isn't the proper description of the physics.
6, 5, 4, command engine start. 2, 1.
They chose 100 of our closest stars, many visible in the night sky in familiar constellations.
Because we don't.
In the Milky Way galaxy, the stars in its halo are mostly
that can happen, then there's no reason why we can't send a signal.
This is where the temperatures are warm enough for water to condense on their surfaces
and spins around an imaginary tilted.
Hi, Savannah. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I think there's a lot.
What that means is that I'm really interested in understanding.
And very few exoplanets have been found this way. Most exoplanets are found by using the transit method, which measures the dimming of a star.
So he anchored it in physics speak so that we...
Hello wonderful person, this is Anton, and today we're going to be talking about the discovery from the clarification that connects to one of the older videos on the channel.
On August the 15th, 1977, a radio telescope called the
proteins being arranged in different orders. And it's all kind of delicate. If you put too much heat into it, those chains of proteins fall apart.
Like the way a spoon in a glass of water looks bent and distorted.
Tens of years, hundreds of years, thousands of years that light...
Since we've looked at that in detail in our black hole and neutron star series, you can check them out afterwards.
For that light to get to us. But the galaxy right now is 32 billion.
That's why the vertebrae in your spine might expand.
Anyway, at the same time, Joseph also published...
Peeling apart a human, we find a complex mix of organs and fluids. As we peer closer, we find that these are built from a diverse range of individual...
And we'll explore just some of the worlds that Klein covers in his field guide.
Kind of blurred into insignificance in the face of that indescribable beauty.
Is anything living on them?
At the heart of every galaxy lies one of the most mysterious objects in the universe, a supermassive black hole.
Our customer Chris Bosshausen, the first full
so that it shines bright in very specific color.
But an interesting comparison was made between the nature of black holes and the nature of the Big
right down the middle. The reason for this is the same reason our solar...
Astronomers are now finding evidence that space and time can be shattered by eruption.
Again, you're listening to the voice of Blue Origin there.
A team led by Brent Tully at the University of Hawaii